Hello, everyone. Welcome back to Silver Tears Tarot. Today, we're getting into another one of those readings that was kind of a question that came out of Friday's live reading. And so, this one is about what their intentions are, what they want to have happen. And as we did readings throughout the weekend, we've started to, we had additional times where this question started to kind of come up. So, we're going to go ahead and address it here. And it's really just, again, what are their intentions? What do they want to have happen? What is in the current energy? Because it does feel like there's a lot that's happening in the energy right now. Things we know have been shifting just based on these previous readings. And so we're going to continue to look into that. It'll be a general reading for this collective, as always. It's not going to resonate with everybody, and really it should not resonate with everyone. If it does resonate with you, though, by all means, think about subscribing. Think about looking at some of the previous videos to get some other messages that might have been useful for you. Let's see. I think I'm going to use this as my main deck, and this is going to be my clarifier. All right, we're going to start with kind of that general energy that's happening between the two of you. There's been things have ramped up, since probably about the time of the eclipse. Things have really kind of ramped up. We started getting that spying energy that started showing up. And yesterday I mentioned, I think it was in the extended, that we have I have one viewer who, we're pretty sure that there's some spying going on there, or some reaching out on social media under a made up profile. So again, I can't do specific personal questions in a general reading, but that level of spying showed up in yesterday's extended. So it might be, I think it's going to be a good topic for a reading. I think we might do tomorrow. So just so you guys know, maybe take a look at what is happening with the spying energy and that sense of getting kind of almost poked at from a distance. Okay, we've got a 9 of Pentacles, and let's see if anything fell up on the floor. Nope, nothing is face up on the floor. So what I meant to say was fell like face up on the floor, not fell up. So we've got the 9 of Pentacles. There, in this current energy, this is feeling like being behind, coming at something from a deficit. There's a feeling of needing to rush to catch up, or even if you are pretty caught up, feeling like you can't get a bead on what ought to happen next. With the World card in reverse, something isn't resolved. Something isn't over yet. Definitely something isn't over yet. And this is shared energy. So you're both in that kind of, it's chasing you sort of energy, and something isn't over yet for both of you. Let's see what else we've got here. So we also have the 4 of Swords, where you're starting to see the edges of your respective areas of healing, like what you have healed and what you haven't. And it feels like it presents an area of weakness, or there's something going on here that it kind of feels like it creates weakness for you not to have made this healing. It feels like you're behind on healing just as much as being behind on maybe just something that's happening in the day-to-day. Because this feeling behind feels like in the day-to-day activities, sort of feeling behind, but this is definitely about healing and feeling like, oh, I'm not ready to move forward into that next level, into that next step, because I really kind of haven't mastered this, Okay, so let's see. We've got the King of Wands. King of Wands is a desire to control things, but a desire also to be magnanimous about it. And then we've got the 10 of Chalices. So this speaks to that 10 of Chalices, 10 of Cups, 10 of Water lesson that we've been seeing coming out basically for months about this relationship. And it's about what do you do when you come face to face with something that really does resemble, it looks too good to be true. It looks too good to be true. What do you do? So in your case, it's move toward it, maybe move toward it very quickly, form a bond. And in your person's case, it was more of a, I don't trust and I'm going to run away. I'm afraid something bad is going to happen, so I'm going to run away. Where in your case, it was more, I'm afraid something bad is going to happen, so I'm going to hold on. There's a desire here to kind of utilize what healing, with the King of Wands, a desire to utilize what healing you do have figured out. However, it does seem like it's going to be kind of a complicated road. It's a little bit of a complicated road, I think. Let's see why. So there's a need for you to get in and really kind of think about what's happening in the changes within your respective energies, but it's hard to find the time and the right mindset at the same time to do that. But there's healing that's kind of happening in the background, and somewhere in here, both of you need to find the opportunity to take stock of that healing so that you're able to give yourself the benefit of that. And I'm sorry, this is the Four of Pentacles in reverse, but this is still true. There's a need to get in there and really take stock of the healing that you've done so far, because right now you're finding the edges of your healing. It's that thing that I used to talk about probably a little bit more, where you're climbing a mountain and you look down and you see how far you've come. And you can look up and you can see how far you have to come. Just make sure you're taking time to do both of those things, because if you're spending most of your time saying, wow, I really have a long way to go, and I'm really able to see how much more healing there is over here, it may be that you're also missing some of what has already been accomplished. And of course, you can't look at those things at the same time. So this is just making sure that you continue to pay attention to these things. And with the Four of Pentacles, so we've got the Four of Pentacles and the Two of Wands. Both are quite significant. The Four of Pentacles represents a turning of the corner, and the Two of Wands is it's accepting something about, this is your person, accepting something about themselves that they previously had been using as an excuse to drive distance between the two of you. So this allows you to close that distance. Does not close the distance for you, but it removes an obstacle between the two of you. And this is something in their way of thinking. It's that sense of them needing to update their values or do something new with their values. And so it's progress in that area, but not complete progress. So if they do reach out to you the way that we've seen them thinking about doing here in some of these recent readings, then you're going to see some progress, but you will also be able to see that there are some things that are pretty unhealed. So this doesn't elucidate their intentions for us. I mean, we'll get to that here in a minute, but I'm just pointing out that their intentions could be pretty much anything with this. And they are wanting to definitely keep their secrets. So we've got the High Priestess, we've got the Empress, and we've got the Chariot. Let's see, does it go beyond that? It does not go beyond that. Here we go. All right, so the High Priestess, the Empress, and the Chariot. What we have with the High Priestess is a need to remain secretive about some things, or a need to remain, to stay in secret about some things. The Empress is kind of a different sort of feeling. It is about being able to rely on that feminine energy that flows within both of you. So you have heavy feminine energy that is closer to being in balance. So everyone has both masculine and feminine energies. Doesn't matter what your gender is, but it's about you're both going to have those masculine and feminine energies that have to be balanced within you, and then they have to be balanced across the relationship. So here it's about the reliance on that feminine energy, which we know that your person has. They rely upon you for strength. They rely upon you for, what would this person's energy do? There's a lot there that has them really kind of, they may not even realize how much they rely on you for this, but there is the sense of moving forward while wanting to keep these secrets intact. And these things don't necessarily balance. They don't necessarily work together. There's definitely a sense that it's going to be difficult for them to do this. This would be without getting vulnerable. And I think it's going to be difficult to do what they're wanting to do and feel the closeness that they're wanting to feel if they're unable to get vulnerable. And yet I get the sense that that's what they're going to try and do. We get, again, this feeling of things just not being over and like love flowing in. It reminds me of I'm getting this visual of like being stuck in a structure and a wave is just coming and there's no place to go. You're going to be covered by this wave, okay? And it's a wave of emotion, a wave of love, and it is definitely coming. With this world in reverse feeling, it's not, it's you know it's going to happen at this point. There's a feeling of knowing it's going to happen, and that's part of what all of this almost like loud energy has been about. But it's also a matter of, okay, there we go. It's a matter of bringing up some very old things that now have to be dealt with. So we've got the Judgment card energy, which is, this is the energy of reconciliation within the self. So remember, we need reconciliation within each of you individually and then with across. So we need reconciliation between you before union can successfully happen. This is that internal reconciliation, and this is that tendency to still try and kind of hide behind some egoistic things. But with this wave of love and energy and emotion coming, especially with this obstacle removed, I don't know that this trying not to focus on the truth has much of a chance. So this is an inevitable kind of energy that's flowing between the two of you, and I think they can feel it. I'm still getting the sense of that that spying, staying close to you, poking at you energetically from a distance, that sort of thing. I still feel like it's there. We're definitely going to look into that for tomorrow, understand why they're doing why they're doing what they're doing and what you need to be doing about it. But now for today, let's look a little bit farther into what their actual intentions are and what they would like to have happen. Like I said, and like we were saying at the very beginning of the video, I was mentioning, you know, this came out of Friday's live reading, because we did a live reading on Friday. I did not do an extended, and this might have ended up being one of those. I think this might have been one of the first extended questions I was thinking about asking. Queen of Pentacles in reverse. Okay, let's see what else wants to come out for that. Oh, and by the way, I was thinking I'm probably going to do another one live on this Friday, hopefully with fewer glitches. And so there is a post out there that allows you to vote for the best time zone for you, or the best time frame for you. So if you are interested, please do go out and vote. Otherwise, of course, you'll be able to watch it later. It just shows up. If you're live, you're able to chat in questions. But yeah, so go out there and vote if you're interested in doing that. We've got the Queen of Pentacles that's come out so far, but it came out in reverse. That's a self-worth issue. It's coming out as a self-worth issue. Like they don't feel like they can come forward. They want to do something that they don't feel like they can do, and that's one of the reasons you're seeing all the silence from them. Let's see. Okay, we've got the Two of Wands in reverse. That excuse being put in front of the family. I'm just going to call it that. I'll explain that in a minute. And then the Ten of Wands in the upright. It's just too much. It's just too much. So what they want is freedom. What they want is freedom from this. But the problem is what they're bound by is limitations from the inside where they feel like they're not enough. Limitations from the outside where they've got somebody in their midst or in their family or in like in a position of power. It could be at work, but it's someplace that they're going to think less of them if they, this obstacle that's been removed, they're going to have to hold on to that as a secret right now. They can't talk about the fact that it's been removed. Maybe there's an age gap between the two of you and they figured out on a very deep and real level that age gap does not matter, but there's somebody in their family who really thinks it does, and so they can't talk about it. It's that sort of thing. We also have the Ten of Wands here, and the Ten of Wands is interesting because it's talking about the burden or the demands that come from the third party that we know them to, like their surroundings. And we know that I can feel that it has that same feel as the third party that has that force field. So I'm able to say it's the burden around that third party and kind of what's happening with that. But they have to get past that. They don't want to carry, they want freedom from these complications, even though one of them is like their own internal concerns. Okay, so we have the Five of Wands. They want out of the struggle. And I got to take this off. It's clicking and bothering me. They've got the Five of Wands talking about that struggle. There is more Wands energy, 7 of Wands in reverse. They're afraid. They want to be able to move past. These are basically things that are getting in the way of them moving toward their happiness. That's what's happening. And so they would like for all of that to be removed. It feels like they don't have very many choices. It feels like kind of the way that they feel about this relationship, if we were to ask that, is almost like Lovers in reverse kind of energy. They want happiness. They want to be able to move toward their happiness. With the Page of Swords in the reverse, they have a tendency to, this is not about the pressures coming from the third party. This is about that consternation that comes from within them with that Queen of Pentacles in reverse that we see there. This is that tendency that we see to run. So we saw the 10 of Chalices come out, and I said something about their tendency to run when they see something that seems like it's too good to be true. It's complicated, and they run away from things that seem like they're complicated. They want to be able to get past that, and to be able to get past it without having to like nail their feet down in place, you know. But they're not in a place yet where they're able to do that, and so they don't have the new perspective. We see that with the Hanged Man in reverse. They don't feel like they have the strength. And we talked about seeing the edges of healing. They don't feel like they have the healing. So this is a place where they have looked back down the mountain and they've seen that this healing just kind of isn't done. This is not something that has taken place for them. They are not there yet. This is around the big three. It's healing around, again, fear of betrayal, fear of rejection, fear of abandonment. That's what I feel with this 5 of Pentacles in reverse. And it is often what I feel with the 5 of Pentacles in reverse when I do readings for this collective. I'm super curious to see what's happening as far as their feelings toward not just you, but toward the relationship. I think we're going to look at that when we get into the extended. And I wanted to tell you about the extendeds. I had, one of you had, and honestly, a couple of you have asked about this, if it would be possible to purchase memberships in Vimeo for the extendeds. Now, I had contacted Vimeo a while back about this, and they said, hey, it's not working right now, try again later. And then I forgot about it. And so somebody reminded me again here recently, and I just wanted you to know, I've opened up a new the place that the Vimeo recordings are now is a place where we can do memberships starting like yesterday, I want to say, that you'll be able to do memberships. And so if you're one of those people that buys a lot of extendeds, do the math. This one could be of real benefit to you, because if you only buy like one a month, obviously this isn't going to be a good deal. But look at what you're doing and decide if this is going to be a good deal. You might be able to have a little bit of a savings there. And so that's kind of what I was thinking. Honestly, if you're one of those people that buys it every day, it's an over 50% savings. So if I was that person, I would want to take it. And I just thought, if you have that, I should be saying thank you to those people anyway, and also making life a little bit easier for them. So there we are. And I was not planning on interrupting this reading with that, but I wanted to let you know. So when you get in there, you'll see the option is there. Okay, so moving back to 8 of Swords. This is, remember the question that we're asking is what they want, what their intentions are. Their intentions are to resolve the distance between the two of you. We can see that over there, but they've got some forces that are really coming their way to make that happen. So we've got that, the Ace of Cups, the Ace of Chalices, where they are there and the emotion is coming for them regardless of what they think. And they are sort of doing the internal reconciliation that's going to get them ready for it, but they're still in denial about some things, despite the fact that they are on the road to recovery as far as making changes to their values that are going to help them out. They want to be able to feel a little bit easier about this. They would like to be able to feel like, oh, it's no big deal. I can just make this shift, and the rest of my family or whoever it is that is going to disagree with these values, they'll just get over it. You know, that's how they want to feel about it, but it is not by any means how they feel about it. Instead, they are incredibly prone to overthinking, a lot of worrying about whether or not they're going to be accepted, and mostly whether they're going to be accepted within their family or within wherever this place is that you see the person with the position of power. So we've got the Ace of Pentacles here coming out in the reverse, and here's another, it's like the problems with them being able to open up are deeper than you might realize. They go deeper. They're not some previous relationship this person had. This goes deep into their childhood and possibly beyond that. Again, we have the Four of Swords coming in the reverse, which is, again, talking about a lack of healing, talking about not having enough healing. And yet the Two of Chalices, they want to be able to be with you anyway. They want to be able to. So there's a strong desire here for them to be able to go back to partnership that they feel like you had early on, before they figured out how challenging this was, before all of the triggering started and things started to get weird, before they stopped being able to communicate with you. So we have the Knight of Swords here, and this is all about like it reminds me of like the Tin Man from the Wizard of Oz, who was all rusted up and couldn't move at all. And this is that kind of, I can't move into something new because I can't move. I can't make myself move into something new. It's got that kind of feel to it. Also, they want out of whatever's happening with that third party situation. And we read about it yesterday. We know it's complicated. Whatever is happening in that third party situation, they wish it was just over and that they had already done what they need to do to extract themselves from that. They certainly don't want to have to be in a situation to have to do that right now. Okay, so I feel like I'm done with that, but I also, again, it's like they want to reconcile, but they want to bring things back to the way they used to be. They're unhealed, as we've seen, but this is something where the emotion is coming for them anyway, and some of the healing has been done. Now, definitely some of it is still kind of out there and it's hanging out there and they're very aware of it, but the difference is they're much more aware now than they were at the beginning of all this. There's a growing level of awareness, so your conversation with them may look very different. Let's get a look of what at what you should be doing and focusing on, given all of this shift, because any shift that happens for them also matters for you, and vice versa. Let's see what's going on. So we've got the Ace of Cups. All right, so brace yourself for that incoming energy of the emotion, like you're stuck in that structure with them, watching the wave of energy and love come your direction. I don't think you're as horrified by the concept, but you may find yourself a little bit less flexible in that way than maybe you were when they first came in. You took a little bit of damage with the way things have gone with them. I'm just kind of throwing cards all over the place and none of them are upright. Not even the ones on the floor. But yeah, you took a lot of damage. So you may find yourself having a little bit of trouble navigating in some of these places of love. However, feel like you're going to work your way through it. So this Eight of Swords, you're already there. This is their Eight of Swords where they're wishing to be there, where they were wishing that they didn't go toward a place of overthinking and then they could be good with it. Feels like you're there and you just need to use it. You need to focus on your ability to be unflappable in certain places. And this is a now energy. You're not always like this. We also have love this. Seven of Swords in the reverse. This is about self-trust, and it's about you having self-trust for yourself and knowing it, being aware of it, and being able to say, okay, I'm working this right now. Just going to go ahead and use this. This is fantastic energy. So you have that strong foundation that we've been seeing in your energy coming forth, and you have some things to work through. This is a good combination. Oh, it's a really good combination. So you have the Devil energy coming out. And if you're ever going to see the Devil energy in a good light, it's going to be because you have self-trust. You're not in the trend of overthinking. You have a lot of love coming your way that you're going to navigate fairly cleanly, and you have a King of Pentacles attitude on your side. The King of Pentacles is a provider. It is masculine energy. So if the Emperor is made up of all of the kings, this is probably my favorite one. It's very confident, never flighty, totally capable, humble on top of it all, has his cake and eats it too. And once again, it's masculine energy, so it doesn't mean it's a man or someone who is male gendered. It's just energy. And so, everyone is going to have the potential to reach this. If you're going to have the Devil energy going on, you're going to be able to say, okay, I can take this on. I can do this because of the rest of this backdrop of energy that you've got going in this time in between the eclipses. So you are like a force to be reckoned with right now. And you are being given the opportunity to, and you're resistant to it, but you're being given the opportunity to do some of the healing while we're in this eclipse time frame, while you've got these energies going on. So the Devil card says you're being given the opportunity to do some of these healings. Queen of Pentacles says you're doubting yourself a lot. You're bouncing right off of this energy of the Queen of Pentacles with your person, the not feeling worth it, that sort of thing. And then, of course, kind of putting it off a little bit. This is the sense of putting off a Tower moment. This is the Tower card. It's the sense of putting off a Tower moment rather than being completely resistant to it. I said immediately, oh, and you're resistant to it. And then I realized, well, it's not so much resistant as more procrastinating the Tower moment. Like, you know, it has to come, but you're not wanting to do it right away. You do have a sense of wanting to add to yourself, though. You're wanting to invest in yourself, and this is something that you absolutely should be doing. But the important thing to note is that you're going to have to let this tower fall in order to do it. It is not an end of the world sort of tower. It is not a huge deal. It is something that when you let it fall, it is going to be anticlimactic. You just don't realize that yet. So if you're able to let that happen, then you're going to be able to open up some time in your life. Basically, something falls away, and you'll be able to open up some time in your life that allows you to utilize your energy toward investing in yourself a little bit more cleanly and a little bit more clearly. You will be successful in this. You've got a Six of Wands here. It is a beautiful Six of Wands, and it just kind of, it bolsters this. It's like an assist. It just kind of, it helps to move you along. This is energy that you were already going to be successful, and this just boosts you along your way. So we have the Ten of Swords here. You're going to do this while being fluent in the pain that you have experienced. So there's going to be something that happens here that kind of brings it all back for you, and you're not going to get triggered this time. That's part of how you're going to find out how far you've come. So you're going to have a little bit of it get triggered and a little bit of it not get triggered. That which gets triggered, you're going to be able to manage fairly well. But the other thing is you're going to have help. So go ahead and lean on the energies of the people around you, the way that they typically lean on yours. Like they're here for you for this. And some of them aren't. And those are the ones that you're going to realize maybe don't belong there. But you've got a Six of Chalices. You're able to look back. You're able to look at these things that caused you pain and not be so triggered by them. And that is very significant. You are actually going to determine, in this energy, you're going to start to see just how far you've come. So, and you're encouraged to do that. You know, you're encouraged to both look up the mountain to see how far down it is, how far you've come, but also look up to see how far you still have to go, to keep yourself humble and to keep yourself kind of understanding what is still going to be required, because there may be times, and there will be times, where you don't feel like you have everything in you to move forward, and yet that's a perception. You absolutely do. But we've got some Wands energy in reverse. Page and Knight of Wands, both in reverse, feels a little bit like depression to me. It is not a deep depression. It is a tendency toward depression that you'll be able to basically redirect your attention, divert your attention somewhere else, and it's going to basically go where you point it. You're going to be very able to redirect yourself. So just be aware that when this comes in and you start to feel like, wow, I can't really get anything accomplished, I can't do what I want to do, just recognize this is a perception, and all you have to do is challenge it, change your surroundings a little bit, and then it's something that should more or less take care of itself. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and wrap this up, and we're going to go into the extended. Link is down below. And so I had to start with yesterday's extendeds with the membership. So you'll be able to see yesterday and onward, and I'll keep all of them in there. It was like I had to make a clean break. You can still get to the old extendeds by looking at, or by clicking on those links, of course. It's just going to be a little bit different going forward, because you'll be able to see that membership will be everything from yesterday on. So we're going to go into the extended, and we're going to look at kind of what's happening with their emotions toward your relationship. And I think we'll look at their emotions toward you also when we get into there, just because I don't see much of that coming out. I do see some. I do see, you know, you being that foundation for them, and you being ultimately where that happiness is. But I think we'll look into it a little bit more deeply. And if I don't see you in the extended, then maybe I'll see you again in tomorrow's reading.